Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pandagasms. Woohoo!
Yeah,
I
baby.
am your lovely hyper hostess, Panda.
Yeah, baby.
And we have my lovely co-host, Big Cat. Mustard. No, sir.
Yo, cause you know that's my jam.
And we have our lovely, lovely guest. What do you want to be called tonight?
Maya.
Just Maya. Okay, we have our lovely, lovely guest, Maya.
Beautiful Maya.
Welcome, Maya. How are you?
I'm good.
You're good? Okay.
One of the topics that you wanted to talk about.
Hold on. And you know what's crazy? All the topics
She's
tonight
back.
are hers. All the topics tonight are
That's
from
right,
this
trying to act shy,
lovely,
but she
beautiful
got
lady.
questions.
So before we dive into the topics, give us a little briefing about yourself. Tell us something about you that you don't mind sharing with the public. Because remember, this is going on YouTube. Right now, it's on Instagram. And people are going to tell a friend that we are live and they are sharing the live. So, yeah. Tell us about yourself. What you don't mind sharing with the public.
I do track after school.
Ooh, you do track after school. Okay. Go ahead. What grade are you in?
Eighth.
Grade. How old are you?
14.
14. I think
About
you
to go
are
to
our
high
youngest
school.
guest, right? You're getting ready for high
I
school.
love that.
Do you have any high schools in mind?
Yeah.
Which ones?
Probably METCO,
You want to go to METCO? Okay. Which one? Any specific one?
Lincoln.
Okay. Why Lincoln?
Hey.
Because they have better opportunities for I think for people of color to learn about themselves. If not, then more about what they want to introduce more into their lives. They have certain clubs that are better expanding than other schools do.
You done did her research, people. I
All right.
like that.
I think
like
isn't
that.
Javi, aren't you a METCO student?
Uh-oh.
Yo, watch your mouth.
We definitely had a topic.
North
that
Cambridge
we did an
Catholic
episode,
all day, yo.
BPS versus METCO. We need to bring that one back. Have some METCO.
I'm not
kids on here.
BPS either. I know how
you're
to
not.
read
I didn't
properly.
say you were. I'm just saying we need to have a topic about that.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So we're looking into a METCO program for high school. Awesome. So which topic do you want to discuss first? We'll let you take the lead since these topics are all yours. Let's go.
The one about pushing sexuality on kids in school environments. and
Okay.
in the streets.
Okay, talking to the camera. Let the people know you want to talk about pushing sexuality into the younger generation, into
Yeah.
the school system, and in your streets, basically in your life, your social life,
Yeah.
because you guys are our future.
Do you feel like it's being pushed on you guys? Is that what? Yes.
All right.
Really?
Let's get into the
See,
mind
'cause
of a 14-year-old.
I'm not in, we're not in the school, so we don't know what's going on and what's being said and how the agenda is being pushed. Okay, so you feel like what part of it? Like they're trying to push what different views on you, or just like how do you feel like it's being pushed in different areas in your life? Like that's early for them to be.
I know, because she's only in the 8th grade.
That's what I'm saying.
Tell us
Is
about
it
it.
friends? Is it teachers?
It's like the
Society?
school. So
Give her a second.
Because I'm surprised. I'm like, I can't. this
Welcome
is
to what we
crazy.
parents have to deal with.
What?
Yes, it starts very, very early.
So in my school library that's on the 3rd floor, it goes from there's a section that has regular books, has genres, and there's a certain section that's based on LGBTQ books. And certain books are available to all kids. And my school goes from 7th grade to all the way to high school. And I was just thinking that I don't think 7th graders should be reading books about sexuality that they don't know about. I think that they should be able to be themselves and figure out who they are when they get old enough. Because I could never imagine my younger sibling coming home telling me or him or her that she wants to be gay because she read a book.
Okay.
And
that.
in certain books educate on certain different levels, but there are certain book covers that just don't look right. There was one book, I was in the library doing work one day for my ELA class, and the book name is literally just called "This Book is Gay," and it was just in my public library for the 7th graders to just see. And obviously, I couldn't say anything about it because
Why couldn't you?
my school is full of people who think that it's okay to just be loud and I'm not saying it's not okay to be loud and proud, but at the same time, there are kids who are 12 and 13
Who shouldn't be
trying to find
exposed to
themselves.
that,
Right.
right?
Like if that shouldn't be where the seed is planted, basically, yeah. I wholeheartedly agree with you on that. And I do think your voice matters. So you absolutely should have said something to someone, an administrator. You should have told somebody how you feel. Write a letter. You still have time.
Yeah.
You still have
Wait,
time.
what was
Write
the
a letter.
title of the book?
This book is gay.
Like, have you expressed this to your mom, your parents, any elders in your community prior to coming on to Pandagasms to express how you feel?
I told my counselor about the book, and she said that basically they started doing that when more teachers who I guess applied were considered as non-binary and were considered as that. Because in 7th grade, I had an advisory teacher who was considered non-binary, and all the time I would always say she or like her instead of they, them. And like every time I would say it, it would always be like, you know, an email or like a sit down and a talk. And I really didn't understand that.
So I can understand why not speaking up, you know, because
Yeah.
clearly that's going to be an email and another conversation that's going to be
I get that.
to be had, even though what happened to freedom of speech, what happened to me just expressing myself, you know, I'm not saying rip the whole shelf down, but I should have a right to be able to say, I think that, you know, at least have them in a section where these certain kids can't get to them. I mean, there's, you know, like,
That's exposure to all the age groups.
wow.
Wow. That's a tough one because, you know, the people are going to say, well, we have to make it inclusive for everyone so everyone's comfortable. And, you know, sometimes when you're making one group of people happy or one person happy, you're going to upset someone else. So that thin line is crazy because I wholeheartedly agree with you. I do think those types of conversations, for the seed to be planted, that is a job to be done at home, you know, with trusted adults. And I don't think school is the place for that at such an early age. That's just my personal opinion.
Section?
Yeah. And
Like, I understand having some literature, you know what I mean, for people who who are old enough to look into it and take those books out of the library. But to have I don't know, maybe I'm just old. I'm an 80s baby, so maybe I'm just old. But I just don't know that a whole section is needed for middle school kids.
some sort of a censorship as well, because the title of the book, to me, that's a bit much. Because
Okay.
honestly, if I wasn't aware to this, to you know, that environment, that lifestyle, if I was a 7th grader and I was to see that book, I would be kikiing in the corner, honestly, because I'd be like, hee, you see what this says? You see what this says? You know, I'd be real immature about it. But I don't
But
I
it's
don't
planting a
see
seed
why
that it doesn't need to.
that doesn't need to
plant.
be, you know. And then of course I'd probably laugh about it amongst my peers, and there may be someone who may know about it that'd be like, well, this is that and the third. But I don't think that I don't. I agree with you that it shouldn't be there. What else do you feel like is being pushed on you? So you have the books in the library at school.
And we read a book in my class that was it was basically about, it was called the 57 bus, and it was basically about, I guess, a non-binary person was riding the bus, and a boy felt a certain way about them being on the bus, so they were like, I guess the boy got upset that they were just on the bus, and the boy, I guess, lit her skirt on fire, and it caused a whole thing in their school and his school. He went to a juvenile detention center, did all the programs.
This was
And
a book?
It was a book that I read over like 2 months ago in my class. We had to do reports on it. We kept reading it. And as I was going on, I came home, I told my mom, I was like, this book really isn't helping me with my education a lot, because I didn't really get it. She was like, what's the book about? And I was like, it's about a non-binary person on the bus. She was like, well, what that got to do with humanities? I was like, it has nothing to do with humanities at all. And she was like, well, it's your school. You're already reading the book, and if I don't read it, then it goes on back onto my grade. So she was like, as long as it's not inflicting anything onto you and you don't feel like you can't read it at all, then just get through the book. And when the book ended, a lot of kids left the classroom like that book really didn't make any sense and it really didn't impact me in any way. It didn't make me feel different. It didn't make me question what I should do in life. And I feel like books as a whole should definitely do that if they're made to do that.
It's to
Right.
And people
educate.
write books to put a story,
purpose.
and that book didn't put a story on any of us. That's what most of my
I
class
had no influence whatsoever. She's
No
like,
influence.
that book was a waste of all the time that it took for me to read it. I had
And
nothing.
that was part of y'all's curriculum.
This is crazy. And you know,
So
I'm a
that's a
huge
way of forcing
advocate.
it.
Yeah, I'm a huge advocate of listening to the children, listening to what they say. And even if you don't agree with it, at least try to hear them out to process their thoughts on how they're feeling, because their feelings matter as well. And that's a huge problem with a lot of the older generation at
There
times.
should be a voting system.
At times, they forget to listen to the kids. They're the ones that have to actually endure the curriculum, that have to be taught something. And if they feel it had no impact on them, no sort of a positive influence or any influence at all, why are they reading it?
Could have read something totally different.
Something
that could have
completely different
changed
that
your
made some
life,
sense.
Made sense to your
It's
future,
March.
your
It's
career.
Women's Month.
You know what I mean?
You couldn't read
Like-
about Harriet Tubman.
We don't even learn about that no more.
Really?
And
They don't,
see,
did
but
they
they
really
read in
start
the
taking out Black
non-binary
History
books.
Month, but they'd rather focus on the binaries and the non-binaries?
I think for Black History Month, when I went into my school, the only room that was decorated was my counselor's door.
Oh.
And then it was just like, I guess like a little like a game that was like, you know, what do you know about Black history? And that was it. It wasn't like, you know, decorations everywhere. It wasn't like a community meeting. It was just like it was like a normal day. You just coming into school and leaving. I was like, ain't it Black History Month?
Like, ain't it our time? Like,
So, real quick, I'm going to play devil's advocate. And you want to go to a METCO? Okay. That's all I'm going to say to you. You want to go to a METCO?
looking at that,
You sure you want to go to a METCO?
you're just gonna get more of it. That's all she's saying.
Yeah.
That's it.
I
but if
worked.
the opportunity's there and the
I get
programs
that.
that you want to learn
But just
from are there,
no.
just don't expect no black.
Don't
black.
expect it to get any better.
Oh, I know.
Not in the METCO system.
I know. I've heard about
One
the
door.
METCO systems, and it's a big
Okay.
white population of them, and I feel like me going there, it isn't for the population of white people.
It's for the resources.
It's for me to get
advance
the
your future.
resources that
Absolutely
I need.
understand. Just as long as you're fully aware of what you might step into out there. I don't want you to be blindsided, because if this right now,
That's
when
so crazy to
listen,
me.
when I worked in the METCO school, I was in the first grade classroom, and one of the books said that people that live in the suburbs have homes, and the people that live in the city live in buildings.
Wow, the lies.
And that's crazy, because I live in the city and I live in a house. So that book
You're not
is
supposed to.
so unfactual.
You're supposed to be in a building.
And that was my last year working in a METCO school. They did not do anything for Black History Month either. And when I mentioned it, it got quiet. You can hear like
how dare
the
you.
crickets. You can hear the crickets echo through the hallway, because I was like, hey, y'all don't have nothing for Black History Month? Mind you now, I'm the only
Shortest month.
Black woman that's staff in the building with locks to add to that. So I think I was
blackity
part of
black.
their DEI program.
Yes, you were. You were the hire.
I was part of that, because
You
I
were the
feel
one.
I check out the box for Hispanic and African American, and then
Yep.
I stick out like a sore thumb
Yep.
when I worked in that medical school. It was the most
So there
uncomfortable
was no
feeling
way they
ever
couldn't
in
say
life.
that they didn't give opportunities to us.
It was the most uncomfortable feeling I ever had, and I don't think I will ever work in a medical school again. And I would never send my children there. However, that is your choice, and I just want you to be
if
prepared.
that's where she wants. She sounds
I'm
like
not
she's
trying to tell her
prepared.
not to go.
She sounds like she's
I
thought
just-
about it.
I'm not a fan of that program.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
Just you got to have hard skin. Just be prepared.
And she's
Alligator
getting
skin.
it now,
She
clearly.
is. And I'm proud of you
with a
for
whole
that.
section and
Early,
them
too,
forcing her to
'cause
read
14?
this book. Like she's
Yes.
starting already.
You know what, though? That's kind of sad that our young girls have to start at the age of 14 of having alligator skin to deal with the world. That's crazy. But
when
that's
you
not
got
what we're here
certain
to talk
people in
about.
office who ain't qualified to be in office, I feel like your skin just got to start growing.
Yeah, it got to get
does.
tough. It
Because
just
there's
got to
just
get
so
tough.
much going on that, you know, like you kind of, if you, man, listen.
And you know what's great, though? You have a great support system.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
You have a great support system that's going to get you through any trials and tribulations that you're going to have over there. So don't worry about it. You'll be fine. What else? Do you want to talk more about this, or did you want to dive in to another subject?
We could dive in.
You want to dive into another one? All right, let's go to the another one.
I'm Reds.
Oh yeah, there was one. It said like, what's one thing I would change about my parents?
Okay. Oh, look, Mom just ran out the room. She's like, I don't want to hear you talk about me.
Hey, listen, we listen and we don't
We listen
judge,
and we don't judge.
and we do not take
the
it to heart.
babies,
We
we listen
listen,
to the
we
babies.
do not judge, and we do not take it to heart. Okay?
And it could be good things. You never
Right,
know.
you just never
This is a
know.
learning moment.
Right.
I had this conversation with my kids too one day, and I was like, I'm a human first.
See, no, y'all can't be you gotta listen.
But I did listen. I did listen to the conversation, but I was like, I'm a human. But go ahead, honey.
Do you want us to go first, or do you want to go first?
Right.
You want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first because you know I like to talk about my parents. Good Lord, listen. So I think before I explain the things I would like to change about them, I accepted my parents probably in my mid-30s. So in my mid-30s is when I was just like, this is who they are. It is what it is. You know what I mean? But prior to that, and even still now, I reflect, because my dad isn't here anymore. So I look back and I be like, he was a womanizer. I wish he liked women. I don't think my father liked women. And my mom, I wish she liked men. I think they both raised us off of trauma. I do not think they ever had a thought process of wanting to heal. And I wish they would have, because they would have been funner. Granted, my dad was cool as a cucumber. He was cool as ever. And he'll get along with anybody. He was a great friend. However, when you have to put on different hats for him, he wasn't always the best in those departments. So he could have done better in a lot of areas. He was a womanizer. I wish he wasn't. I wish he respected women in a better light. But with him being a Rolling Stone and a womanizer, I got great bonus siblings. I got amazing brothers from him being a hoe. I got bonus siblings that are amazing because he was a hoe. So, I mean, not all of the bad stuff that they do have horrible consequences. However, you know, they are who they are, so I accepted that. I wish he wasn't, though. But at the same time, I'm happy he was, if that makes sense. That's life. My mom, him and my mom, I wish they were both more open with their feelings, things that they went through. Just being transparent, being human, not having to be so hard. You know, they have this, I don't know if it's just a Caribbean thing, but they just have that pride. You can't let nobody see you bend. You can't let nobody know you need anything. I wish they weren't like that. I wish they were people that believe that they do have a village, that they do have a community. I wish they didn't have trust problems where they raised us to never trust nobody. I wish they were better at being affectionate, because good Lord, they weren't. I don't think I learned how to be affectionate until I had my twins, and they're 17 now. And my daughter was the one I always wanted to hug, and I'd be like, don't touch me. I'd make it so quick. My mom to this day, you go to hug her, and it's a quick, and she lets you go. And I'm 41. So they don't, I wish they were more affectionate. But again, I've accepted them for who they are. So once I realized who they are, I was like, this is what I don't want to be. This is how I do want to be. Oh, this is why I'm like that. So certain things, all their bads and all their pluses, I was like, some things I would like for them to change. I wish they had more accountability. I wish they apologized. I wish when, you'd be like, hey, XYZ, they weren't like, well, I did this because, okay, your point is, just say, you know what? I understand where you're coming from. I'm going to do my best to not let that happen again. Because to me, the best apology is change behavior. You may not know how to say, I'm sorry, or I apologize for doing that to you, but just do better. Because my dad, whenever you apologize, be like, oh, Daddy, I'm sorry. He'd be like, don't be sorry. Just be careful. So how you going to tell me, be careful, but you out here just doing the most? Just doing the most. You wasn't careful. I got brothers from in the same year from two different women. Like, how that... Like, what?
Just be careful.
Just be careful.
You're a woman. You got to be careful.
Is that a message to me from experience?
You got to be careful.
Or, because sometimes we look at our parents like, how dare you tell me that when you didn't XYZ, but then you're like, that might be experience. Did they really mean it? So I can go on all day about this. However, I won't. But those are the things that I would absolutely change if they were open to that. My dad absolutely was never open to change. I always told him he lived in a box and he's going to be like the dinosaurs. that they couldn't evolve to change, and he's gonna perish like the dinosaurs because he wouldn't accept change. He didn't like that women had places in power. He didn't like that women were construction. He didn't like that women were doctors. He just didn't like women. I'm like, bro, you got a whole daughter. You're saying this in front of me out loud?
He didn't
the
care.
audacity.
He didn't care. He said what he said.
So if I could change a few things about them, it would be those things.
Okay.
And I've told them. So it's not like, newsflash. It's not like they don't know. So, yeah. If they ever watch, well, my dad will never watch this, but I think he came back as a raccoon, so he just might.
You know what?
Listen.
Do you want to go next, or do you want me to go next? Lord, there's a raccoon watching us somewhere from a building, y'all. And he is cackling too. It's a raccoon somewhere with his... Yo, she has a raccoon somewhere, I'm telling you. But you're right, though, the one that stayed near your house.
The one that's always near my house.
Near your house.
It doesn't
comes
leave.
every summer, every spring,
summer. That raccoon comes out. It's back already.
I saw that
There
raccoon
is a
when I
certain
came
It
to
doesn't
that
leave.
house.
And it has a family now. I was like, oh, my daddy done breed up our next woman. Like,
He's still going. He's still going.
in the next life.
He's still going.
He's still going.
I
like,
believe
fam,
that.
you don't
I
take a
believe
break.
that. I believe it. I believe it wholeheartedly.
Big Cap,
you want me to go next, or?
She's like, yes, I need you to warm me up a little bit. Warm me up a little bit.
All right. So just like Amanda, 30s, mid 30s, I kind of learned to just accept my parents for who they were. Dad, again, just like Panda, has passed away. So, but on his side of it, I just wish he was more open and communicated to me more of my background. Like, I know that there are other siblings out there, because another Rolling Stone, okay? I know.
Was that their theme?
Yo, I know. You know how I know that I know that I know? Because he was born in 1929 when Jesus walked the earth. I know I have other siblings around here. I know I do. But whenever I would ask my dad, tell me something, the conversation would change. It would be something different. I'm
wasn't
like, but
owning it.
how you don't want to tell me about Jesus himself? You was probably one of the disciples. How you not going to tell me about God himself? So like, I know
He
that
parted the Red Sea with Moses.
he was with Moses, He was with Moses in the middle of the ocean. Like, I promise you, like,
Hold on.
1929.
Do you
So
see Javi and Jen's face right now?
what I'm saying is, I know that I joke and everything, but think about the amount of history that he
Yeah.
probably had, right?
Walking history
he
book.
met Jesus, he met Martin Luther King, he met Malcolm X. Like, think about all the years that he went through life, that he probably met all these people, and he could have educated me. Nah, because you... Listen, and I'm sure my dad met him. Because here's what I am going to say. All this comedy, I get this from him, and this is what I love, because this is a big part of me. And he was a big jokester. Everything was a joke. So I will say, what I wish is that he was more communicative. He opened up more about, our history, and maybe some of the things that he went through, World War II, 3, 4, Pearl Harbor, he done been there for it all, and I wish that I could have had more of his background story, you know what I mean? So that's what I would say for my dad. Everything else, it is what it is. He was who he was. He was a man, right? Okay. Now, for my mom. I wish that mom was more adventurous. And I say this and I can laugh at myself because I'm not that adventurous. So I get both parts of my parents in one. So it's funny that I say this, but for her, I just wish that she wouldn't have let depression just take completely over her life. And just let it completely just be who she is. Now, granted, I don't know. Maybe this is who she wants to be, but I just don't understand why you would just want to get up to just eat and go back to sleep, and get up to eat and go back to sleep, and get up to eat and go back to sleep. and get up to eat and go back to sleep. Like, that's just crazy to me. Like, that's just like, you don't want to do something more. So that would be what I would change for my mom, because it's like, okay, everybody goes through something, but at some point you do got to get up and just want better for yourself, right? And so, and you know what? Maybe this is in my life to make sure that I never get to that point, because I see it and I'm like, you make sure you never get to that point. Don't know, but if I had to change it, that would be the thing that I would change. And I used to say, oh, if I could change, I would change out my dad. I would have a different dad. I would still keep my mom. But now I'm like, nah, I would keep both my parents. I would keep them for who they are, because then would I be the same goofy ass person that I am right now without my father? No. Because my mom is drier than dry. So I would not, you know, but I just wish he would have told me about his life, you know? When Adam and Eve, he was, listen.
Yo, she said with Adam and Eve. I'm so done with Big Cap right now.
So he was there. I feel like he's come back in multiple lives. And he was here. He was there. I know he's here right now, probably slapping me upside my head, but it is what it is, Daddy-O. Like, I wish I knew more. There's so much that I could have learned that I wish that I knew. Like, I would go to, he had this briefcase. I guess this was his secret hidden briefcase that I found. And I'm reading birth certificates of names that I have no idea who these people are. But clearly, they my siblings. That's why I cremated them all fast. Don't come out the woodworks claiming nothing. That's my daddy. That's it. It's done. It's done. It's done. Because where were you? Where were you? Don't claim nothing else. My daddy is done. It's done.
It is what it is.
But there was names in there.
Jesus. Well, they say you don't usually find out to the funeral.
And this is what I'm saying. 1929, he knew everything.
He did.
Why he didn't tell me?
He definitely had mad kids. Because
I would
1929.
say let's go back to Trinidad, right? Just because I wanted to go back to Trinidad with Dad, you know, while he was still young, able to move and groove. You know what I'm saying? He would say, I can't go back. I would get locked up if I go back. Never gave me the backstory. And we never went. Every year that I brought it up, it was, you know, I can't go back.
You want to go to Trinidad with me?
I want to find out.
Go too.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna start with my daddy because my mama here.
That's right, girl.
She said, I got to go home with her.
My dad, oof.
Okay.
There's a couple things I know. There's a couple things he's done right. I know. A couple of things he's done wrong. A lot of things he's done wrong.
But we're going to stay focused on the topic. If there were things that you could change,
What would you change about
what
Pops?
would you change about Dad?
That.
Because she's ready to cuss him. That's what it feel like. I feel
Go
like she's
ahead.
ready to go down the
It's
whole...
only live on Instagram. We'll bleep it out
hole.
to put it on the universal web, the World Wide Web.
We not. So, you know, that's why she's taking her time. She's thinking it through.
Think it through, baby girl.
What would you change about Pops?
I wish you would have accepted I was growing up.
Oh,
I think that's hard for men with their daughters.
that's hard for
especially.
parents.
Because age of like 10, then that's when I started getting into more stuff. Body started changing, hormones started changing. That's when he was like, oh, no, you're still a baby. You're still this. And even till this day, it's no crop tops, no boys. Literally.
Yes, I agree.
There's
I
a
agree.
father
You're
in the
14.
room.
I agree with Dad. You don't
Clapping and making
told me.
noise.
He told me something I still remember. He said, books before boys, because boys bring babies. I'm not saying that's a
like
bad
the
thing at
bees.
all. I'm not saying that's a
waiting for
bad
these.
thing.
I'm still waiting for what
like
you want to
the
change.
That's a bad thing at all.
What do you want to change? We're still waiting for that part.
Tell the kids again. What is it?
Books before boys, because boys bring babies.
Okay, y'all. Brought to you by the letter B. Okay, y'all.
That's a whole Sesame Street ride.
Okay.
But Sesame Street got bars. Right. I don't want to change anything about that.
When I was growing up, I got into a lot of stuff. I got into sports. I got
That's come with
into
crop
a lot
tops.
of things. Cause Lord, my mama did not want me in the house. She said, I'm gonna do a sport. I'm gonna get out the house. Now, my dad played a lot of sports when he was a kid. He goes on and on about it. And as soon as I joined the sport, first thing he said, you want me to coach you? I said, okay.
You trying to be a good dad, all right?
And then 5 seconds later, next he's a coach on the sideline. I said, wait a minute.
Okay, so you didn't want him that close.
She
you
said, "I didn't need a
want him to be
helicopter
that
dad."
much of a coach.
How'd you get outside of the bleachers?
Okay, all right. So you want some boundaries with your father.
Yes.
She wants
Okay.
some space.
Okay, all right.
How, like, the amount of sports I done soccer, flag football, I'm in track. Now, I done tried every sport. And every softball, every sport my mom got me into, she always stayed in the bleachers.
Okay, and you appreciated that.
But then as soon as my dad got into the sport, he always became some type of coach onto the field. I don't know how he did it. I swear he was paying the people to let him sit on the field and become a coach with me.
You're gonna miss this.
And on flag football, the coach quarterback was already his daughter, so he was already hard on an all girls team. My coach's daughter was our quarterback for flag football, so having an all girls team and having his daughter, hearing him yell at her, good Lord Jesus. So imagine having her dad and my
Your
dad
dad.
both on
Yeah.
us. We got angry quick.
I'm still waiting to hear
y'all
what
was
you
at the
want to
top of the game.
change.
She wanted him to stay on the bleachers and just train her at home. She wants him to learn to just that she's not 10 anymore.
I want to
Like,
do my own thing sometimes.
You can help, but don't go too far with it. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing.
My mom let me have a lot of my own things. Not
Your
all the
own
time,
space, your own
but
time.
But she let me have a lot of my own things
Okay.
because she knew eventually I was going to grow up and I was going to have a lot of my own things. Eventually,
you gotta be
I was
able to
growing
be
up to have my own car, have my own bills to pay. And she was like, you know what? You're going to grow up. I'm going to let you have your own things. And you know what? I can't always be there to help you.
Okay. But you feel like
Sometimes-
dad's coddling you?
Yes, he coddles, he hovers, everything. Good Lord.
I'm waiting for the bad part.
All
still.
right, all right. No, but this is her perspective right now. She's
I
at a
know.
stage where she's trying to sprout and he's trying to, keep her, at the little baby seed. I get it. I get it.
Quick question. Quick question. May I ask a question?
Yes.
As a parent, do you think that he's not accepting you growing up, or he's just making sure you are safe because he's your dad and he knows what's out there in the world? You are a very beautiful young lady.
He said she just said no.
I'm just asking.
At the same time, I learned a lot of things from my mom. I knew not where to go
Honey,
in Boston.
you got
where to go in
ADHD?
Boston.
Stop it. Stop it. She asking about the daddy. She
I'm
wants to know.
asking you a question. We went to your. That was a whole nother
I don't think
conversation.
he was really like trying to keep me safe.
Over here. You, go ahead.
I cannot.
That's his job to protect you and keep you safe, no matter what age you are. You do realize that,
But
right?
he don't have to be the second coach at her games. Like, she got a point there.
I'm asking you a
He
question.
could be there and still protect her. He don't got to be the coach. No, I'm with
I
you.
feel like he
Don't-
was doing too much.
See,
was
there
doing
we
too
go.
much.
She answered your question. He's doing too much.
Like,
I'm just
sometimes-
asking. I'm just being genuine. I'm not taking sides.
Because like sometimes it was like, okay, yeah, you're my dad. Of course you're gonna freak out about this, but like my sport though, my sport.
So wait. You
You
know,
said
for
train me,
prom,
not coach
he
me.
might be the volunteer chaperone at prom.
For prom,
Yo.
Let me
there's
stop.
a way
Let
we
me
can
stop.
lock him
Let me
out.
stop. Let me
Are
stop.
you ready for? Okay,
Let me
let's
stop.
focus.
Yeah, let's stay
focus.
focused.
So,
All right,
mom,
so now
let's talk
mom.
about mom now because
What
we
are
got
some
dad
things you
out
would
the
like to
way.
change about
Unless
mom?
there was more about dad.
Oh yeah, there's more.
Oh,
about
okay, good. We got more for dad. Yep,
that.
I'm listening.
I feel like my dad also never knew how to say sorry.
The accountability.
There's a lot of things he did. A lot. Like there's things that he said, and I was like, that hurt. And you know what he said? He said, "You're tough, and you just gotta take it." I was like, okay, okay. But then when it does come to my mom and she knows she's wrong, first thing she say, "I'm sorry, I was wrong." But when my dad, he really never knew how to say sorry. Like there was one time where. Before he became a coach, he asked me, "Do you want me on the field?" First thing I said, "No, I want
And
my
he
own
still
sport."
did
Next thing I knew, at my tournament, my championship tournament,
Tell him.
he's all dressed up. I'm like, "Why are you dressed up like that?"
Right.
He gets out of the bleachers. I'm
Yep.
like, "You can't be on the field." My coach says, "No, he's a coach." I said, "What?"
Yep.
Yeah, that's different when you have the conversation with him and you're
Yep.
like, look, I don't want you there.
He said, "I'm reliving
I appreciate
my life
the support,
and I'm there."
but I don't want you on the grass.
I'm reliving
Stay
my
behind
life.
the
I'm
fence,
there.
please, and think. Okay, so he definitely just disregarded your feelings
first thing
altogether.
and first thing he said to me, I needed extra support. I didn't. I needed extra support, but you could have stayed in the bleachers.
And
We had
that's a
breaks.
lot, right.
You could have pulled me aside and been like, you need to do this. And I could have done that. You didn't need to be on the field. Because once he got on the field, my mind went, I was like, I can't do this.
Now that I know you guys had a conversation, it changes the whole perspective of maybe he's just parenting and just protecting you because you already made him aware
He's
of how
doing
you
a
felt.
lot.
Yeah,
He's
that is
doing
a
a
bit
lot.
much. So, Dad, I hope that if you get to watch this, you're listening.
Just pull
that
back a little.
Baby girl has boundaries.
Just a little.
Just respect them.
She
a
don't
bit.
mind you being
Yeah,
there.
you can still go to the game. She's not saying don't come. She's just saying stay in the bleachers.
But she's saying, don't be a Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Let Biggie shine. let Biggie shine. Let Biggie be on this. We don't need you dancing. You know what I'm saying? Doing the.
I'm glad she cleared that up.
You know what I'm saying? Like. Yeah, no, we shouldn't. We can't say that name. But you know what I mean? Like.
All
Who
right,
else
go
was
ahead.
a
Let's
hype
go
man?
into Mom
What
before
was-
we
what was-
end the show because we got like 20 minutes left.
No, wait, hype man. What was what's his name? Busta Rhymes hype man.
Oh, the little
Yes, we
Spliff.
don't need no more split stars. She just wants you to be there to train, not to coach, but to train. That's a big difference. Training is on the
It
side
is.
at home. Coaching
Yeah.
is when you on the sidelines. You don't want them on the sidelines.
Yeah. Plus,
She
you
wants
had the
y'all,
conversation.
Daddy, stay on the sidelines because she's smiling.
the
She's smiling. I think
bleachers.
she
Stay in
like
the
you there. She just trying to
bleachers.
complain. But wait, you trying to skip out on Mom because Mom's here, so you ain't trying to talk
Yeah,
about
that's
Mom?
why she was like, "Let me wait." I mean, if you don't want to, you don't have to. Because
She's trying
again,
to draw it out so we end the show.
We can't,
talk
we
about
can't save
Mom.
you. Plus, I know she's not in my life. She's not a mom, but so I think she's pretty cool. I think you'd be all right. I'm not daughter though, so you know everyone plays a different role with everyone in their lives. So I don't know.
But she ain't said what was wrong.
Yeah,
or what she
you can
would
say what
change.
was wrong.
What
What would you
wrong, what she
change?
yeah.
What would I change about my mom?
About your mama. You gotta make sure you speak up just as loud as you did about Daddy.
Yes,
Yep.
say it from your chest. Mm-hmm. Right, crickets. It's crickets, and Mom ain't even looking at you, so you can speak freely. You could exercise your Second Amendment right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what
So
you want to say.
nothing?
Just say it. Stop.
Nothing?
You know what I'm saying? She's
That's
trying to
a
think
good
how to say it
thing.
nicely.
There's nothing wrong if there is nothing you wouldn't change about your mom.
So your mom's
It's okay.
perfect? No. Okay, so what would you change about your mama?
That she knows that I appreciate her.
Girl, bye. That means you don't got
knows
nothing to
that I
say.
appreciate her.
That's not nothing you would want to change. Why would you want to change that? That's something you want her to keep.
You know,
Because a lot of people don't know how to accept appreciation.
can you
That's
go
a good
to the
thing.
bathroom so this
Next.
girl can
Let
actually
her
tell
speak
us
for-
what's
get
really
out the
going
room.
on? Because this
Get
is
out the
mad
room, Mom.
fake.
We got 20 minutes left, child. You ain't about to
You
waste.
know what I'm saying?
This
Like,
is
you're
your
not about
topic.
to waste our time with this. I
You wanted to
appreciate
talk
mama.
about if you don't want to, you don't have to.
But you
don't.
brought it up. No, you go and tell us what's wrong with mama.
Listen to the pressure.
What?
Mom
at
might
least
be
one
perfect.
thing that you would change because you ain't gonna bring it up and not say nothing.
Right.
She needs to learn how to calm down her anger.
I'm sorry, we couldn't hear you. What you say?
She needs to learn how to calm down her anger when she get mad.
Her anger
Okay, so
management.
you mean the level of anger that she rises to, or
Yeah.
just the fact that she gets angry that she like? Okay, so you don't like the level that she gets
She
to.
goes from like 0 to 1,000, and then when she's at 1,000,
It stays up there.
she's up there for like say like a couple hours. Then she goes in her room, and then she comes down to like 500.
Okay.
Like she'll probably see me again, and then go back up to like 550.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Then, and then go back in her room, and then eventually by the end of the night, she'll be down to like 200.
Okay.
Until the next day, she'll probably be like, yeah, okay, well, you know.
Okay. So do you get the apology the same day or the next day?
I get the apology like the next week.
The next week, you forcing it. I feel like you forcing it because you said earlier that your mom is good with
Right, with
apologizing.
apologies.
So like,
But sometimes because like if it's face to face and like if I prove to her that I didn't do nothing wrong, like right then and there she's like, oh crap, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do.
Okay.
I didn't mean to spaz out like that.
Okay.
But sometimes like I can't always prove something at the specific moment.
Okay.
Sometimes I need time to prove certain things.
okay, that's fair.
So when it happens, and then it comes back, especially in school,
Okay.
she hates to get emails
Hey, girl.
because
This is why she ain't speaking up on that whole bookcase, and I don't blame her. I don't want to hear nothing
because
extra
the
either.
first time she gets the emails, the first thing she say, these teachers is not gonna lie on you. Sometimes they do be lying.
It's a
They
fact.
do.
Sometimes
They
they
do.
do.
They
Sometimes
human.
they don't.
And
They
they're
do
human,
lie.
and they
And
have
then sometimes
feelings,
they don't
and
like you.
sometimes they're having a bad
they
day, or
switch
they
up
just
the
don't like.
truth. And then when I tell her, she be like, "These adults not gonna lie on you. Some adults will.
They will.
lie. They have
Sometimes they
nothing to
will.
lose.
Right, because they already got a job. And because you're a kid
And they
and
trying
people
to
don't
prove
listen to
something to you.
kids.
To,
Yep.
to put me in a suspension, to put me in detention. They have nothing to lose.
So what I'm hearing is you don't like the height of anger that she gets to and how long sometimes it goes. And if you don't have a proving factor, then it goes longer than it should.
Yes.
And you also don't like that she doesn't wait for the evidence when it's school. She just automatically thinks you did something wrong.
Yeah.
You would prefer if she just left it open and to see what actually happened before she took judgment.
Yeah, but like when I've told her to do that sometimes, because now sometimes when it happens, first thing she says, Maya, what happened? Then when I explain to her what happened, she'll connect the dots and she'll be like, well, okay, I can take your side on this, but this is still confusing. So then
Okay.
when I keep explaining it to her, if she knows in her heart that I didn't do it, she knows that's something I would not do, she send an email real quick like, you're not going to suspend my kid because she didn't do it.
Okay.
But then if she knows it's something I probably do, she'd be like, Maya, did you do it? I'd be like, yeah.
So you can't even. Nah, it sounds like.
But
okay,
then
so,
wait, at least she honest.
I'm
At least
only
she
sticking
honest.
with the anger. Right. I'm only sticking with the anger part. That's the only thing that's really
So far.
that we can
Hold
take
on.
from this.
We got
because
Javi with a question.
The
Go
other
ahead,
one
Javi.
ain't working.
I just not a question. I just want to say, as someone who's married to a mom,
As someone who's married to a mom, go
I
ahead, Javi.
co-sign the anger issues sometimes, but I think that moms love their kids like a crazy person loves anything.
Well,
So-
crackhead loves crack.
Exactly.
Listen, loving
Yes,
anyone can make you
yes.
crazy.
It's not an excuse. Like, we all have to deal with the stuff we got to deal with, even adults, right? Like, I could tell by you that your mom and your dad loves you to death, right?
Just
but at the
listening
same
to that.
time, you're being honest, and we, but I co-sign that. But I say that anger sometimes, especially for moms, definitely comes from a place because usually they're married to dads too. And we can be kind of annoying, and they might take that out on you. But
lying.
just letting you say
He
that.
lying.
I'm just saying that.
You know, it's funny because just last week, me and Panda was saying, was it last week that we was saying how we understand why our mamas did some of
It
the
was
things
last
that
week,
they did
yeah.
and said some of the things. Like, I think over time you'll realize that half of mom's anger was definitely warranted. The other half just could be, generational passing down to you, so pay attention to it. And then as far as your dad, it sounds like he's really just making sure he's there. And I will tell you, as a daughter whose dad was not at any sport or any dance recital or any, I will tell you, I think I probably would have preferred him doing a little too much as
Than not
opposed to
enough.
doing nothing to
but-
little of nothing.
But we get your point.
We do understand it
We do.
totally and
But
wholeheartedly.
also with my dad, I've had birthday parties that he hasn't shown up to. I've had events
That's something
he
else.
hasn't come
We
to.
get that. So he chooses.
And then like
Okay.
he'll pick and choose because like one moment we'll be talking and then another moment he gets real crazy with his words and I'm like, I'm 14, you need to calm down. And he keeps coming back and then
Yep.
when he comes back and now
You
he
clash.
thinks and also he thinks that he can buy me.
that-
Because
A lot of
he knows
dads
that I
think
love
money
is the answer.
I love new things. I love it. I
Because
love my mom
we
gets
do,
paid.
but
I
that
love
doesn't
it.
fix everything.
I love when my mom
I
gets
love when
paid.
my mom gets
But
paid.
what you're saying is clearly that doesn't fix everything.
Every 2 weeks, I call like, "Did you get paid yet?" It's
Wait.
Tuesday.
So hold on. Real
You're
quick.
talking like
Hold on,
that.
real quick. So
What's your zodiac sign?
Virgo.
Oh God, that makes perfect sense. Lord, have mercy. Daddy better stay in the sides. You are taking her attention. You better stay on the
Keep it
side,
down.
Daddy. This is my time.
Beyonce.
So let's stay focused with the guests on the show. So Javi, real quick, was saying something about the wives and moms' anger. Mm-hmm. You want to finish that thought?
I was finished with that statement, but you brought up something that kind of like filled in some of the gaps, especially with your relationship with your father. So I'm assuming your mom's a single mom, right? And you guys didn't ask me the question, right? I love my mom to death, and if you had asked me what I would change about my parents, I don't think, coming from a similar situation, I honestly don't think I would change anything about my mom. I would change her situation. I would have my father more. I would change my father. Like
Okay.
I would want him to be there, even if they're not together. Like
He could have been more present.
be there for me because all the stuff stuff was hard for me. My mom,
Yep.
you know, my mom
Yep.
would take things out on me, which is not an excuse. She could have
But
done better.
still.
But if my dad was there, like
You know, it wouldn't have been.
He could have. You know, they would have been a team. You know what I mean? So that's just. You should have said that. You should have started with that one. You know what I mean? Like that's
So that's
important.
what he's trying to get at as far as why mom might be mad. He's not justifying it. He's just trying to give you some perspective, some understanding.
There's a lot behind
Not
the
to
anger
dismiss how you may
of
feel.
a mother. That's all he's
right.
saying. Yes.
But just some perspective as to what it may possibly be.
But you know what? I have
But
to
then
say, I commend mom for taking the step back. She goes to her room. She brings it down some. She only brings
Right.
it back up a little, but then she brings it back down some.
It's
and
a
then
process.
eventually she apologizes. There are a lot of parents who will not.
Will still not apologize. Will still not. No matter how much time they had, whether it was a week or two, they will not say,
1929.
you know what? You
Had
might be
decade
right.
upon decade upon decade upon decade upon decade.
So this may, especially since mom is in the audience, this may be a learning moment for her as well on how to manage that. She might be like, okay, I'm going to listen to my daughter and take that, how she feels, and
Bring it down to 200
and try to become a
instead of
better
500.
version and work on my anger, So it's a good thing that you
should still
mentioned
have
that.
anger.
And she allowed you to express that. You see, she didn't even say much. She didn't
She
say
deserves to
anything.
be angry.
The only thing she came out was about your schooling. When you
That's
said, yep,
it.
I do it.
My schooling.
Yeah, because that's
That's it.
important.
'Cause she don't
Because
really
books
like
before
my school.
boys,
Yeah.
and that's another conversation y'all gonna have later. School's gonna be soon taken
that
care of.
Lincoln,
Because I
she
know
really ain't gonna
'cause
like
you just said
Lincoln.
mama's cray. No,
You know what I'm
sir.
saying? But mama, so we gonna save the judgment. We gonna give her a little more leeway before we say they and them old folk ain't gonna lie on you. They be lying.
They do.
Them
Teachers
old
do
white
lie.
teachers love to lie. Love to lie.
Teachers do lie.
They love
So
to lie.
parents, if you are watching,
Mine wasn't lying though. Everything they said I did, I really like when I got suspended because I called the prince. Yo, I did that. That was high school. I did it.
did you own it then though?
You know what's
Sometimes
crazy?
I do it.
would own it most of the time.
Okay.
I knew that it was bad and I knew I shouldn't have did it. Yes,
But you did it anyway.
But I would get quiet. I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say no, and I wouldn't say plead the fifth. I would just get quiet and explain, but I wouldn't.
So you would justify why you did
I
what
would
you
try
did.
to help them understand why I
Yes.
said he was in short, whatever, because of whatever. And the reason why I said that and he got mad and kicked me out and suspended me,
So if they listen, that means yes, I did it.
yeah, you gonna get the answer, but you gotta hear it out first, though. You gotta hear me out as to why
As to
I
why
got
you
there.
did what you did.
You'll never question why I got to where I got to. I'm gonna tell you that I did it, but I'm gonna tell you
Before I
what
answer
they
your
did
question.
and what had happened was.
I was about to say that. Before I answer your question, what had
You need the
happened
whole
was...
backstory. That's not fair.
Yes.
Just say, did you slap her? Yeah, but you need to know why.
So what had happened was, before I slapped her, she
Yeah,
said...
she acted like I wasn't there.
She
Was talking
said-
trash and did all this stuff, and then
Listen.
I said, let's go in the bathroom.
That girl said my mama.
Okay. And my mama already sickly. You ain't gonna talk about my mama bathroom. Bathroom.
She didn't
So,
want to
yeah,
go, so I did it here.
I did it. I'm gonna tell you why though first, and then I'm gonna say, yeah, I did it.
Ah, man, this was a good conversation
So
tonight.
my teachers weren't lying, but I do feel like there are a lot of teachers.
There are teachers that lie.
who lie.
My teachers be lying.
So especially
And even if they're not lying, they exaggerate it. They make it way bigger than what it is.
Right, it's still a lie.
Yeah.
Especially if
That's
the
true.
child already has a name for themselves. I think they make
That's
it.
how they
That
run
makes
with
it.
that.
They make it easier. The child in that moment doesn't realize, or they may, that they have a name for themselves, and so they're now a target. And so teachers
You
will
gotta chill
definitely
out.
use that and milk that because especially if you know your student, you know what you can
And
get
you
away
know
with.
which teachers feel that way
Yeah.
about you. You got to be smart. Even
it's-
if they feel
yeah.
that, you got to be smart. It's just like the police. You know how they feel, but you still got to be smart. You still got to do what you got to do and avoid it.
Yes.
To make sure you ain't got
Hello.
those problems. And you may know that they're wrong, dumb, stupid, and wrong. But it's okay. You keep that to yourself. You wait till you leave and you tell your friends, that teacher was dumb. You make sure they ain't listening though. Because one time I responded about an email and she was on the email. Ooh, girl, I almost got fired that time. I almost got fired.
That's another conversation
She
for
called me
another
into
day.
the office.
That is another conversation for
Latoya,
another
do
day.
you
Big cat.
know-
Big cat. Not today. Not today.
Next time.
Next time. Next time. Next time. So parents,
I still was at the hospital 15 years.
anybody that's watching, just take note of listening to how people feel when you do something or say something, and just take their feelings and emotions into regards. If you, whether you value them or not, this to humans at the beginning of the day, you were still wrong with what you did, how you made them feel. So just apologize. It really doesn't take much.
I want to say this.
Apologies
Dads,
can save relationships.
y'all say that age ain't nothing but a number when it comes to everything but your children. Listen to your kids. Age ain't but a number. So if they feel a certain way and they're expressing something to y'all, listen. Just because they're a kid doesn't mean that they don't have feelings. Listen.
And I'm going to take
Process. Listen and process.
gonna,
Even if you don't respond right away, listen and process. Listen and process. And if you want to revisit it. But even I think a lot of kids, and maybe I'm just speaking for myself, would prefer if you just took in what they said and not responded than for you to be quick to respond and it's like you didn't even listen.
Yeah. And I'm going to piggyback off of what Big Cap is saying, not just dads, but moms too. Because some of y'all don't listen. Y'all hard-headed as hell. Y'all be out there the same way. I know this is another conversation for a different day, but when I be hearing men say women have no accountability, I know what they mean. Because my mama,
be listening. No, I'm sticking up for the mamas.
you can stick up for them all you want. They listen, but do they do what the child is saying?
And
They hear you,
but do they?
Yeah, they
actually
hear you,
take
but do they
heed?
change the behavior?
Yeah.
So what you could be listening all you want, but what are you doing with what you heard? Nothing.
Yeah.
So what's the point? It was useless.
Okay.
It was useless. The mamas
right,
be doing
Mom.
it too, because mine does it. So I can't even say they do. I'm not. I don't sugarcoat nothing for
So
nobody.
we'll say for both parents.
So it's both. It's parents. It's not mothers only. It's not fathers only. And y'all mamas know when y'all ain't no good mamas too. It ain't just the dads that ain't no good. They be ain't no good mamas too. Y'all don't be listening. Y'all just be wanting.
I know a few good dads.
Anywho, I do too. I do know a few good dads. I know a lot of good dads. And with that being said, I'm just gonna go revisit all of the topics we talked about: pushing sexuality onto the young children that they do not want. This
The
type
whole
of
bookcase.
So they don't want the
Forcing
section.
readings.
They don't want the section in the library.
This a thing in school where you start you have the
They
children
don't.
read 2 chapters, and if the whole class decides that this is not what they want for their
Then
lives,
take it out the curriculum.
can
Remove
we
it.
switch it up?
This
You
should
could
be.
educated them better. That
This
was a
should be.
waste of time.
This should be listening to the babies.
No,
talking to the mic, Javi. Go ahead.
Waste of
All right, so I mean, I'm not gonna say too much because I probably have a much different feeling about that whole thing, right?
Give us.
I'm very progressive. Like I'm very whatever. Like do what you want to do. I don't care, right? But I remember reading books about. I remember reading a book about a dead Irish lady, right? And her husband would come and give her a rose every day, and that's something we had to read. What am I getting? What am I getting out of that?
Right.
Nothing. But as I got older, I went to college. I studied literature and all this other stuff, right? And it's usually, and if I'll say this for you, a young black woman, you're gonna get into situations in your education where a lot of stuff isn't gonna relate to your experience. I'm not talking about the LGBTQ stuff. I'm talking about a whole plethora of stuff that they're gonna have you read, right? And a lot of times it's not about the subject material; it's about the actual written word, right? Like you learn techniques, you learn perspective from other people, right? And that creates a whole person. So just because a book doesn't necessarily, I'm not commenting on the LGBTQ stuff, right? Like
You're just saying as a whole, in general.
But as a whole, right? Sometimes during your education, you're gonna see things that don't apply to you. You think they don't apply to you, but knowing that information as an adult and having a wide perspective is gonna make you a whole human being and a much better person in the long run, right? And I could see that, you're already on your way. You good.
She's about to be a dope adult.
Right?
She is.
Yeah, even the way you handle something you're uncomfortable with, right?
Yeah.
You handle that better than most adults would handle that. You know what I'm
all
saying? So
honesty.
just keep
Seriously.
whatever
Yes.
your mom's doing and your brother. I see you got your support network here. Yeah,
keep them around because
keep
they're
doing
doing
it.
good.
Yeah.
They're doing good. What was the other topic?
So it was the pushing the sexuality
Yep.
too early.
Yep.
If we could change things about our parents, what would it be? And can I remember the other one?
I think we stopped there because we kind of was.
No, there
talking
was
about-
another one.
What?
Was that it?
I think that was it. Am I missing something? Wasn't that it?
Oh, we so. Oh, that
You just really
hey.
expanded on the
We
second
did.
one.
We definitely did.
got
We
into our
went in
parents.
deep. We went in
Yep.
deep.
Yep.
So whether you're a parent or you're not a parent, if you plan on becoming a parent, there's no rule book to this, unfortunately. You're winging the whole thing. So as long as they're alive, they're fed.
Stop it.
That's all that matters. If they got Wi-Fi, that's all that
In
matters.
this day and
The
age.
kids are gonna kid, and the more you sit down and question whether you're doing it right or wrong, just ask them. Just ask them; they'll tell you.
Actually have the conversation. Yeah.
Just ask them.
And be
if you ever
ready.
really want to know if you're doing good or bad at something in someone's eyes, just ask them. They'll more than likely be able to find the words for you to understand how they feel about you. So with that being said, peace, love, and light. Make sure
Yeah,
you guys
baby.
come out May 31st from
Yeah,
6 to 11
baby.
p.m. at Spark FM for the live show. Thank you for coming onto the show and being a guest and reaching
being
out. We
open.
enjoyed you coming here. We learned a lot from you.
And
what
honest.
14-year-olds are experiencing, because I definitely didn't have that
No clue.
section in the library.
Are you kidding me?
Not that no clue. I just didn't have that section in the library.
Well, I had no clue. Sheesh.
And just, making sure that we set boundaries with people no matter who they are. Parents, listen to what we want, listen to what we don't want. Everything in life is a learning experience. You taught us a lot, even as a 14-year-old. Hopefully people were mentally in learning spaces that they were able to receive the information and be a teacher in this hour that you spoke to us. Because I definitely learned a few things, and I'm pretty sure Big Cap did too.
Sure did.
Yeah,
Sure
so-
did. Y'all saw my
Age is
face.
just a number. You can be a teacher. You can be a student. Don't look at me like
Listen.
that. You see how Big Cap just froze. So with that being said, just more peace, love, and light. We love you all. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. You want to give people some love? Love.
That's I was telling.
And we'll talk to you.
That's the way
We'll
these
see you
young
next
kids do it
week,
now.
7:30.
She
You know
just
how
did
it goes.
She
Good
just
night.
did it. Do it again for Nettie. So she see I was right.